here's Brody Brazil.
It's obviously been a rough start for Major League Baseball this season in relation to their brand new jerseys, which were unveiled. Fanatics and Nike have this collaboration to make these Vapor Elite jerseys. They're the new on-field product. And the struggles there are having a lot of people wondering, well, what's it going to be like when Fanatics takes over the NHL on-ice product starting next season? And this has been looming for quite some time. Fanatics has been involved in the NHL for a handful of years, but not to this degree, making the authentic on-ice jersey that players will actually put on with the Fanatics logo for the very first time. Back in March of 2023, so about a year ago, Fanatics and the NHL signed a 10-year contract, which starts in October of 2024. Fanatics is going to serve as the NHL's official on-ice jersey provider. And like I said before, this is the first time it's not CCM or Reebok or Adidas. This is a Fanatics logo only on the jersey for the very first time. Now, initially, it sounds like Fanatics is going to take over what Adidas already had been doing and keep producing their line of product for a few years and just slap their logo on. But eventually, as you'll see here, Fanatics might implement their own product and design and ideas, and that's where they kind of ran into trouble with baseball, which I will explain. As for Adidas and Reebok, the most two recent jersey providers, those partners decided to let their contracts expire. And in fact, Reebok actually kind of their brand got out of the hockey business. And Adidas, by the way, was paying a reported $70 million a year to be the NHL's partner. Obviously, they gained from that connection, that business agreement, and selling all the NHL's jerseys. And I really don't know. Was there a downside to the Adidas jerseys? Did people really love them? Did they hate them? I think generally across the board, there were no issues with them when they came out from day one. They kind of reflected the NHL's product and jerseys and what people pretty much expected. More on the fan perspective in a second. But as for the Fanatics monopoly that some people suggest, I mean, this is an interesting company. It's growing so quickly, and the Fanatics brand and products, they're quickly dominating team stores like at the arenas and rinks and online shopping, and usually you'll see your team's logo and image on a bunch of different brands. There's a Nike version of this, a Reebok hoodie, there's an Adidas whatever, a toque or a hat or whatever. But it's like pretty much everything these days is made by Fanatics. The poster, Fanatics. The scarf, Fanatics. The sweatpants, Fanatics. They're pretty much doing everything relating to all things merch. And they've signed these long-term exclusive deals, not only with the NHL, but a couple other sports league entities. But the deals are interesting. They're long-term, number one, which kind of makes them feel a little bit more monopolistic, but they also include stakes in the company, meaning that the league now owns a piece of Fanatics. So they have a vested interest in the future of the company and doing things right and making sure that Fanatics gets all the stuff and the best stuff, and that they really funnel everything through Fanatics. Sometimes competition breeds better products. If there's two brands that make a shirt of a team that I really like, I'm going to pick the better looking one. But if there's only one option, I don't really have a choice. Fanatics is not only partnered with the NHL, they've also partnered with Major League Baseball, forgot a comma there, the NBA, the NFL, MLS, and F1. So monopoly across so many of your favorite sports entities. My graphics person is fired, by the way. Oh, wait. That's me. Hockey fans are great fans in a sense that they're so particular about sweaters. I didn't say jerseys. See, sweaters. The color, the texture, the fabric, the stitching, the details. So, hockey sweaters are sacred. And for obvious and great reason. That's not a fault. That's a really cool thing about hockey fans. They wear these jerseys, these sweaters, to the games. And hockey jerseys also have so much more detail, I think, than other major pro sports jerseys and uniforms. Baseball, there's some intricate things, some piping here and there. And basketball, there's maybe less material. Hockey, a hockey sweater with the piping and usually a large crest and definitely two shoulder patches and maybe sometimes a shoulder cap and the lacing around the neck. There's just so much going on that make different hockey team sweaters unique. And it's important that they are replicated like the way they're supposed to be and look. And with some of the criticisms of the Fanatics brand and quality of product and quality control, I mean, if there are any issues here, like traditional hockey markets are likely to be the loudest. If they don't get the Montreal sweaters right, like Habs fans in 2 languages are going to tell you about it. Same thing with the Rangers or the Bruins or Chicago or any team across the league, for that matter. But getting the hockey sweater right is not easy. It's also very important. Fanatics already makes this current breakaway jersey, which is really the only thing that fans would have to relate the existing jersey or the new on-ice jersey to. The existing one is the breakaway jersey. That's their current offering, and their slogan surrounding it is the breakaway jersey is designed by fans for fans. And what they mean by that is just more wearable. If you put on an official, authentic, like on-ice pro stock player jersey, the crest actually, if you're sitting down, it kind of bothers you because it's so wide on the chest. It doesn't really bend. It's not flexible. Same thing with the lettering on the back. You also typically don't have like shoulder pads on or elbow pads on while you're going to a game. At least I hope you don't need that. But it feels a lot less comfortable to put on an authentic on-ice NHL jersey and wear it around town. That's why they made this breakaway jersey, because the numbers, like anywhere on the shoulders and sleeves, the crests, the patches, the shields, they're all flexible. So you can sit down and it just kind of feels more like a shirt. But the problem is that's fans' first impressions right now of what Fanatics is at this point. The combination of like stitching and heat-sealed adhesive, it's not all put together in the same professional way that the on-ice jerseys are. So whether they'll continue that line or not is not really the question. I think they will. That's only the first impression right now that exists among the fan base. And going back to baseball, right? This is their first try, 2024, at making their own baseball jersey. I say that because Fanatics actually took over from Majestic, and Fanatics and Nike took over from Majestic in 2020. And so from 2020 to 2023, there were no problems. There were no complaints among baseball players or their fans with those Majestic style type of jerseys. Everything was fine because they took the old thing and just slapped their new logo on it. They just kept making what was already being made. The problem is here in 2024, Fanatics and Nike and baseball introduced their own new first version with a bunch of comments and criticism. And they feel lighter. They don't feel right. The names and the fonts are much smaller. The patches don't have embroidery. They're just all like silk screened or printed on. Criticism and questions all across Major League Baseball. And we still haven't got it solved yet. By the way, the season is less than a month away. So will this be a similar trajectory in hockey where Fanatics comes in and for the first couple years, everything is fine. And then as soon as they decide to flip the script and do something different, that's when they run into problems. When Fanatics takes over, this was from the NHL, the company won't make radical changes, said Doug Mack, CEO of Fanatics Commerce, the merchandise division. It will have a multi-year plan to make gradual, data-driven changes over time the way it has with products in the past. Wait a second. That's not exactly what just happened with Major League Baseball. Right? That's the way it should have happened. Introduce this, change that. Slow, evolving over time, totally get it. They overhauled way too much at once, and that's why it brought a bunch of complaints in baseball. We look for evolution, not revolution, said Mack. Said, oops, there's 2 saids in there. Don't mind that. We're not going to change it up just to change it up. So I threw myself off because of that typo. My graphics guy is really fired at the end of this. So I understand that. I appreciate that. I hope Fanatics is learning from the baseball experience right now before they really get into the on-ice product with hockey. Fanatics is also not just merch. They're doing so many different things right now as a business. They've recently acquired Topps, like the trading card company. Mitchell & Ness, the very famous throwback jersey manufacturer, they took them over. PointsBet, sports wagering, they've got into that side of the business. And they also have opened up a sports book. I believe it's at the Nationals ballpark in D.C. And they're taking over the current Adidas factory, just like they did with Majestic, making baseball jerseys, I think in Pennsylvania. They're taking over the Adidas factory in Montreal to continue making the current version of the jerseys for now. But again, the question is, if you're doing so many things at once, can you actually pay attention to this important thing and make sure you get it right? So Fanatics and the NHL, and a little bit based on the baseball experience, it's an interesting situation right now. I don't know the answer, but it's something to watch out for. All that we can ask and hope for is that they've learned from this baseball experience and apply it to a much better sequence of events relating to hockey. You've made it here to the end of the video. You know, I greatly appreciate that. Thumbs up down below. That'll help me and this channel. And if you're just stopping by here for the first time, you've never seen me before or any of this, that's great. I'm glad you found me, but do me a favor right now. Before you leave, hit that subscribe button so I can definitely see you back here next time.